When we talk about what truly hurts a woman, it's rarely about grand gestures or material things. What cuts the deepest is often subtle, being ignored, unappreciated, or undervalued. Women are naturally sensitive to emotional signals. They notice when their words, actions, and presence are dismissed or overlooked. Over time, these small acts of disregard accumulate, leaving a lasting impact on her psyche and emotional well-being. Imagine a woman giving her time, energy, and love in a relationship, at work, or within her family. She invests herself fully, not out of obligation, but out of genuine care. Now, imagine when those contributions go unnoticed, when her efforts are not acknowledged, or when her opinions are brushed aside. It's not just disappointment, it's a deep emotional wound. Human beings have an innate need to feel seen and appreciated, and when a woman's presence and efforts are ignored, it can lead to feelings of invisibility and inadequacy. Another crucial aspect is emotional support. Women often prioritize the emotional needs of those around them, partners, children, friends, colleagues. They expect the same empathy in return. When a woman's emotions are dismissed, when she is told to stop overthinking or it's not a big deal, it invalidates her experience. This lack of validation doesn't only hurt, it communicates that her feelings are irrelevant and her emotional needs are secondary. Over time, she may withdraw, lose trust, or feel disconnected from those around her. Respect is another vital cornerstone of value. Being treated with dismissiveness, sarcasm, or condescension is far more hurtful than any material neglect. Respect goes beyond politeness. It is acknowledgement of her dignity, intelligence, and individuality. When a woman repeatedly faces disregard or is treated as less than equal, it undermines her confidence and slowly chips away at her sense of self-worth. Women also experience deep hurt when their generosity and care are exploited. Many women are natural nurturers. They give, they support, they prioritize others. But when this is met with selfishness, ingratitude, or exploitation, it can feel like betrayal. The pain stems not from the act itself, but from the realization that her care is not reciprocated, and that she is seen as a means to an end rather than a person of value. Another dimension of hurt comes from lack of recognition in relationships. Whether at work, home, or in romantic connections, women often play roles that are quietly essential yet rarely acknowledged. Think of the partner who organizes the household, the colleague who ensures the team meets deadlines, or the friend who consistently provides support. When these efforts are taken for granted, it signals that her presence and contribution do not matter. The impact is not just emotional, it affects motivation, confidence, and overall mental well-being. Finally, the absence of meaningful communication creates profound pain. Women value connection, dialogue, and emotional engagement. When she reaches out, expresses thoughts, or shares feelings and receives indifference or silence, it communicates neglect. Emotional distance, avoidance, and dismissive behavior suggest that her voice is not valued. Over time, this can create loneliness even in relationships that appear functional on the surface. In conclusion, the hurt of not being valued is deeply psychological. It is an erosion of recognition, respect, and emotional connection. To value a woman is not merely about praising her achievements. It's about consistent acknowledgement, empathy, respect, and engagement. It's about making her feel seen, heard, and appreciated in every interaction. When women feel valued, they thrive. When they don't, it leaves a wound far deeper than anything material ever could. Feeling ignored or taken for granted is one of the deepest sources of emotional pain for a woman. It is not about dramatic gestures or occasional forgetfulness. It is about consistent patterns that signal to her that her presence, efforts, or opinions do not truly matter. Women, like all human beings, have an innate need to feel acknowledged and recognized. And when this fundamental need is unmet, it affects her sense of self-worth, her emotional health, and even her behavior in relationships and social interactions. When a woman repeatedly feels ignored, she starts to internalize these experiences, questioning her value, her impact, and even her own worthiness of attention and love. Being taken for granted is subtle, and this subtlety often makes it more painful. It is not always about explicit rejection or disrespect. Sometimes it is small things that accumulate over time. Her suggestions being overlooked in meetings, her contributions to a shared project not being acknowledged, or her emotional expressions being dismissed. In personal relationships, this might look like her partner failing to notice the effort she puts into maintaining the home, organizing family events, or providing emotional support. These instances, although small individually, build up over time to create a pervasive sense of invisibility. When she feels that no one notices or appreciates her, it sends a silent but powerful message that she is not valued, and that can be more wounding than any overt criticism. The psychological impact of being ignored is profound. When a woman's voice is consistently overlooked, she may begin to withdraw emotionally. She might stop sharing her thoughts, feelings, and ideas because she has learned that her input is not recognized or respected. This withdrawal is not a reflection of her abilities or her worth. It is a natural response to repeated experiences of being undervalued. Over time, this can erode her confidence and self-esteem. She might begin to doubt her own judgment, second-guess her choices, and feel that her efforts are futile. In more severe cases, long-term feelings of being ignored can contribute to anxiety, depression, and a persistent sense of loneliness, even when she is surrounded by people who care about her. Understanding why this hurts so deeply requires looking at the way human connection works. Women, in particular, often prioritize relationships and emotional bonds. They invest their energy not only in practical ways, but also emotionally, expecting that these contributions will be acknowledged, reciprocated, or at least noticed. When their efforts are ignored, it is not just a minor disappointment. It is a signal that the emotional labor they provide is invisible and unimportant. This lack of acknowledgement communicates a subtle but significant message that she is not seen, not heard, and not valued as a person. The experience of being taken for granted can also influence how she interacts with the world around her. In personal relationships, she may become less willing to offer emotional support or affection, not out of malice, but as a protective response to repeated disregard. At work, she might reduce her engagement or contributions because she perceives that her efforts will not be recognized. Socially, she may start to avoid situations where she expects her presence to go unnoticed. These